Girl, we don't got time to get distracted, okay? I literally was up 4 hours scrolling on my phone, checking my notifications, checking my connections the day that TikTok got banned. And I'm in the middle of writing a blog post, but I was so distracted by whether or not they were going to actually ban this app at 8:30. We need to disconnect from things that are happening outside of us that are trying to distract us from our purpose and distract us from our goals. We got things that we got to get done. And regardless of what other people are doing, regardless of what decisions are made on our behalf or things that are happening that are outside of our control, we need to focus and hone in on the things that we're trying to get done. You might be trying to finish a project. You might be trying to knock things off of your to-do list. You might be trying to build something great, something that you've always dreamed of, but there are things happening in your family. There are things happening in the world. And these are big things that can really impact your mood, they can impact your livelihood, they can impact, your everyday life. But if we allow those things to really take up the majority of the space in our minds, we won't never progress. We'll never move forward. And I really had to tell myself this and just get off of social media because I was just checking the updates and checking the news, and I'm like, I'm not ever going to get anything done if I don't focus, if I don't pay attention to what it is that I'm really trying to do. I know that I have a goal that I'm trying to meet, so that's what I need to focus on. And some ways that you can limit those distractions or by just like eliminating them. If the distraction is on social media, delete the social media apps. Give yourself time limits. Go and find something else to do. Like for myself, instead of sitting in the house where I'm comfortable, I went ahead and went and sat at a coffee shop where there's other people being productive around. So it then encourages me to continue to be productive. I also go to the gym because like you can scroll at the gym, but you're more so focused on working out, lifting. So you're just listening to a podcast or you're listening to music, but you're not necessarily like on your phone or tuned into the world around you and what is going on. Find something that is essentially a more healthy distraction from what it is that you have going on. If you have, something happening in your family, that might not be the easiest to disconnect from, and you do have to pay attention to that, but you also want to be sure to set aside time to your goals so that you can continue to move forward. I know for me, when I am like emotionally down, if there's a lot happening in my family, there's a lot happening in my life, there's a lot happening in like with my health, it's hard for me to focus on what it is that I know that I need to do. So what I do is I really just talk to myself. And so witnessing the ban take place for 12 hours, I'm no longer able to log into it because I just completely deleted it. I don't like participating in things that intentionally rile me up emotionally or feel like a toxic relationship. I want peace in my life and I want to feel good. So I'm learning, and I think that this is an important lesson for a lot of us, is to learn how to pivot. Like when somebody tells you that they don't want to be with you, don't try to beg them to be with you. Don't try to prove your worth to them. Just pivot, same thing with the social media thing. If one app is not working for you, or if one job is not working for you, pivot. Or if a career field is not working for you, pivot. I was doing social work for 10 years and I pivoted into tech because that was no longer working for me. We have to be intentional about our own lives and the things that we want to accomplish for ourselves. Now, I'm personally a very emotional person, okay? I don't go so far as to crash out like a lot of people do. I used to when I was younger, but I don't have the tendency to do that anymore because my mind is like, okay, how is this going to help me? How is me lashing out going to help me? And sometimes our inner child does experience emotions when we haven't done the inner work, and and you will have those outbursts and you will have those temper tantrums and outlashes, but being aware of where those things are coming from will help you to move through them. But we really just have to realize that, like, this isn't serving me. This behavior isn't serving me. Me being so attached to this thing or this outcome isn't serving me. I have to do what I can do right now. I have to learn how to pivot in order to get to my next goal. And if this is what I have to do, if this is what I have to let go of in order to get there, then that's just what I'm gonna have to do. Yeah, it may hurt. Yeah, it may be frustrating. Yeah, it may be challenging. Yeah, this is not what I was expecting. And no, this may not be what I want to do right now at this time. But if this is what's going to help me to get to the next step in my life, the next step of where I want to be, and it aligns with me and my values and it aligns with me morally, then I'm going to do what is necessary in order for me to get there. Sometimes that's going to call for you to disconnect from people, and you're going to have to let people know, like, hey, this is the space that I'm in. This is the space that I'm not in. I don't have time for these type of conversations. These are the type of conversations that I do want. This is the energy that I do want in my life. And if you can't offer that to me right now, then you know what? We're going to have to distance ourselves for the time being, because I got somewhere that I'm trying to go. I got some things that I'm trying to do. For example, we are in a period of our lives now where we're trying to work off paying off stuff and building our savings. And oftentimes with that, that calls for not being able to go out all the time, not being able to attend events as much as we want to, not being able to give as much as we would, because we have a goal that we're trying to meet. And for me, that's uncomfortable because I'm a person who always shows up. I'm always giving. I'm always doing, but I have a goal and I can't get distracted from that. Even things that I may want to do for myself that I have to pull back and limit, I have to change my mindset around not being able to do those things right now because I have a goal that I'm trying to meet. And it's not to say that I won't be able to do those things later, but for right now, I got to do what I need to do to get there. Like, I'm a person who loves to travel, and I won't be able to travel as much as I would like until we reach the goal that we're trying to get to. But we were able to come to a compromise, like, okay, we'll go here and we'll have a budget for this, and we'll, allow ourselves to have this time and go to this place, but it won't be what we're used to. So when you're on your way to getting the things that you want, don't allow yourself to get distracted. Allow yourself to compromise if you're doing it by yourself or if you're doing it with somebody else. It's also really good to have somebody else around you that can hold you accountable. That's telling you, like, hey girl, you slacking, you falling off, I need you to focus. You know what I mean? Or just to, like, have little reminders around you to let you know, like, hey, you falling off a little bit, we need to get back on track and we need to focus. Now, this isn't to say that when you experience like a pain or a loss, or you're grieving the loss of something, or you do have to pivot, like you lose your job or you lose your community or you lose something, right? That doesn't mean that you can't feel your feelings and feel how you're going to feel about losing that thing. I remember I was like 13 years old and I wrote a poetry book, and I let the boy that I was dating borrow my poetry book, and I never seen him again. Never seen him again, never seen my poetry book. And that was my writing. I put so much love and passion and time into this book, and he took it, and I never seen it again. And I'm like, so what now? Does this mean that I just stop writing? No, I keep writing. But I'm upset about it. I'm angry about it. And now I learned the lesson of don't just be giving your stuff to people, create boundaries and give yourself the space to feel how you're going to feel about it, to go through the motions, give yourself time, but then get right back on it. Like, a lot of people, whenever they started talking about the TikTok ban, everybody was like, oh, I think I'm done with social media for a while. And it's like, I can understand that. right? Because we are losing our community. We are losing something that's been important to us. We've spent years building this platform and now it's just gone. Like, we're just losing all of this. Like, I was on TikTok for 4 years and I built my following of supporters up to like 7,000. And that's not like huge. I'm not a huge creator, but that's the biggest platform I ever had. And I just lost that. But I allowed myself to grieve. I took what I needed from that experience. I recognized that in those 4 years, I learned to show up. I learned how to not be afraid of expressing myself. I learned how to edit. I learned how to do data analytics. I learned all these things from this experience that I now can take somewhere else. So while you're learning to pivot from a career, from a relationship, think about what you can take from that experience while you are going through your emotions and learning how to get to your next step, right? Don't sit in the stuff for too long. Give yourself just enough time, however much time that you need, but don't sit in it. Don't let it last forever. We can allow the depression and anxiety of the, I don't know what to do next, I don't know what to do now, to set in, but we just gotta like calm our nervous systems a little bit, you know, and just like calm down and think like, okay, what now? I'm not going to get distracted by this person's voice and what this person is saying to do and what this person is doing. Quiet the noise from everybody else and what they got going on and what they're saying to do, and just think and let it come to you, and just start working on what naturally comes to you and flows to you, right? Even if you got to take some time to like sit back and go back to what you used to do. Even if you have to take a few steps back, right? Even if you're trying to pivot out of a career and you don't know where you want to go, try different things. But no matter what happens in the world around us, we have to focus on the world inside of us. And we have to continue to remind ourselves that everything's going to be okay. Okay? It might seem like the world is crashing down around us. Everybody's crashing out. Things are looking crazy. But everything's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. All right, you're going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. We can't focus on the negative things that are happening around us. We have to continue to keep going. We got to continue to keep fighting for the life that we deserve. And we have to keep fighting for the life that we want. And that means showing up for yourself. That means showing up for your community how you can when you have the capacity to. But if you don't got the capacity to, that's okay too. I want you to affirm to yourself and say, I have the courage to pivot. I have the courage to go after the life that I deserve. Continue to tell yourself that and believe in that. That is the message that I have for you all today, loved ones. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, please become one of my loved ones and subscribe to the Fully Loving Yourself community. And please check out the Fully Loving Yourself podcast on all platforms. I hope you have an amazing day, an amazing week, an amazing year. And as always, be bold, be joyful, and always be fully loving yourself. And I'll catch you in the next one.